Gathering leaves of left-behind thoughts, raking rattlesnake sensations in the grass, beauty aches through sleepless wakes, left with yawning yonder on yesterday's golden ponder, tears of dew on ground not yet rendered warm. Aren't we all still capable of decay, mud prints on earth, temporic constellating consolidations, cerebral spiderwebs woven by breath, unending confirmations of the story of psyche as the story of death? True, its passing flight left an empty nest, a jaw clenched tight in the present tense, but these soft paper hands adorned with daffodil kiss, and moving voices heard made flesh in word, are natural reminders that when questions flare, look to their shadows, those hard-earned mineral daydreams touched by light as they appear in passing, en route to belonging, in form.
I guess what I'm bringing to this course is, in the short term, is 4 years of, you could call, engagement of contact with people and places. I've heard of a lot of stories that aren't mine, but they're in me now. And the word witness has come to mind. Hearing the stories told with the voice, but also we tell our stories to each other in our actions and the way we live our lives. Many of them are painful, personally painful. And collectively painful. And I'm thinking now of a man I know, who I love very much, who he's a Palestinian man, and he walks with his arm is bent in a slightly odd way, and he holds it, you could say, tenderly. It doesn't bend fully, and that's the story of his time in Israeli prison and being interrogated. And at the same time, the stories, there's pain, and then there's also you could call it promise. Because that same man is he's the the happiest person I know. It's coming to mind right now, and it's this liberation is possible, and that's what we're doing here. One of the places we're doing it. What I'm taking away is I think it would be an overstatement to say that the work is complete, but the work is good enough, and the work now is to find the meeting points. Because we can work on ourselves in this. We can concentrate on ourselves and the dynamics within, but equally there's dynamics without, and it's the same process.
An offering of goodwill, a light heart, a sandcastle smile, death comes as no surprise. Be what will come of 70,000 years of speech, a flux of impressions vaguely touched by words. Come closer and gaze at the sun. While the retina burns, the curtain behind thought is drawn. There is nothing to trust. Becoming nothing, no thing. 5 fingers on a hand waving goodbye to the world of form that dances lightly on my neck. By the unbalanced bench lies the dread of not knowing. Infused with excitement, it ties knots from the gut to the feet, the lower vital body disobeying the cerebrum in its meme-generating confusion. Feelings have you constellated. Here there is a propensity innate in every being towards this or that identity. Sometimes the world is an arena in which the hero's courage is put to the test. Sometimes it is a mother's prayer in which care is the natural order of things. There are feelings in nature known only in rhythm and rhyme, the welling of the wind, the sorrow of the trees, so tiresome. Sitting for that long with an upright back, you would too. Movement towards dissipates the closer it gets. There is joy in nature, courageous like Sisyphus, and only a human can play the fool to feeling, imagining, intuiting, brain imaging itself as pure abstraction, free from the comings of goings, of energy in the vital nexus. From where does feeling come and where do you go? The continuation of the past carried us into darkness.
a person who can be an agent of change really has to have two priorities. One is she or he is genuinely committed to working on themselves, looking at any unhealthy, unwholesome patterns which obstruct, developing heart and mind. And the second aspect as well is a commitment to the welfare of others, including environment and including animals, the creature world. So if a person has a deep concern, inner and outer, they're suited, they're ready.
Mindfulness is just the beginning. It's really just the beginning, and it's the beginning of a very beautiful life story, because it takes you by the hand and shows you how much more there is waiting for you in life. It really guides you to see more than you can imagine now that you can actually see, to experience more beauty and more love and more joy and more freedom than you can actually now imagine that you can experience. That for me would be the whole point to even start with that journey.
The moment we notice the experience, we are already one with it. So there's no gap. There's no gap anymore. We are one with the experience. Awareness is there, embracing everything that is going on. And we are awake in the midst of it, knowing what is happening right now. This awakefulness brings up the qualities of joy, of calm, of tranquility, and of love as well.
Okay, it's weird, I'm very rational, but most of the time I make the big decisions of my life based on pure intuition and little rationality.
That sounds pretty good to me.
But very little, so I didn't even read the worksheets, like nothing. I didn't read the PDFs, nothing. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I felt like this was the right thing, and I thought a whole month of doing this would be so deep and meaningful that it just sounded right to me. That's all. I was convinced I didn't need more than that, and I'm so happy I did it too. I'm doing it because it's not over yet, right? General interconnected strength or energy or wisdom. That it's not even mine, but for me, this course is finding the way to connect to it. And we've been disconnected from it. And now we are reconnecting in these 4 weeks. And there couldn't be something more valuable than that, because once the connection is done, that's it. You can take it with you to whatever you're doing. I would love to bring it to my patients and to caregivers, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it exactly, but I also want to find the trust to just, it's gonna lead me somewhere eventually. I don't know where exactly. And I feel like it's not up to me either, really. Yeah.
That's great. It's lovely using your intuition. Yeah, I read every word and then I kept thinking, is it for me, sort of thing. But I was still compelled. It seemed the right thing.
Yeah, you came all the way from the island, you left your stable life, you came here twice a year, it's a lot.
It was actually. This second part was very difficult travel arrangements.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I would get from it, but I thought, well, it's the next step. Who knows? Who knows anything? And I was compelled, and I was right to come here because amazing things happened even in the first time I was here, with my connection with Robert, who took Aikido from my former husband, and somebody else who was here who knew an old boyfriend of mine in Nepal, and like these funny things. And I think it's also, I had given up on writing a memoir, and I think seeing the stupas, that Tara stupa, is from a copy of one in Nepal. So when I came here, it was like extraordinary. I had no idea there were going to be all these Nepalese things. And I felt like it's bringing me back to what I'm writing. Because I'm writing about living in Nepal, my 50-year relationship with Nepal.
What inspired me to come? It was actually somebody who was with Christopher for many years. I did a meditation course with him, and he said, well, I think there's something that would be of interest to you, because I was exploring deep about certain questions. Looking for people to share with, and that deep wish to explore things. Not the shallow chatting, but going deeper. But on a kind of agreed form, so that it's safe, that you can say thank you when it's good for you, if you need your own time to do. And this is an experience I made here. So this is what I'm taking with me. This experience that there are people you can share with and explore deep. I was doing all these Velcro work here on the, I have some here, the sheer amount of them when I saw them on the cushions, and was given the task to get them off. I just thought, okay, that's quite some work. And 4 weeks ago I started with that in a rush to get ready with that. But this doesn't work because it's a fine work you have to do. You have to be really concentrated and look closely. And then I discovered something. It resonated with, we were working on certain things, themes like friendship, and I was very excited or kind of anxious also about this topic. And then sitting there working on the Velcro, I had a feeling of, this is like patterns, habits, ways of thinking, reacting, kind of a remote control that drives you. And to see through that and take over from that point. So to be clear about what you're doing, what it is that drives you, and stop the driving and take over yourself. Not to be driven, but to take responsibility for the things. So I'm taking off patterns, and I was doing it slower, more carefully. I developed kind of a compassion for that, for the patterns, for the work itself, but also for the patterns I was loosening, looking underneath. There were holes, there kind of, other things coming up. And it just had a feeling of it's not ending. It's so many of them. That's kind of an experience here. You might call it insight. There is constant work on the patterns. And it's something behind, just carries the whole structure on the outside. And that takes time and also some energy, but a will to look closer, I would say, and look through the whole thing.
Words that didn't feel right then, I note down now, pinned with satisfaction to a point in time. Gusting meditations on Eisenstadt, saintly eclipse the silence, a silk-made touch, electrific denial. Birds of prey the morning is theirs, unveiled through the nudity of the day, as it resides in empty form, brought about by no thing capable of animation. I'll leave it for the next fool to find, bound to blind chance in the flesh-body dance. In love waiting arises the idealized form, luminaries transparent to the touch of eyes, a glance perfected as if the future was already present. A delightful rapture gleams lightly on the passing sorrows of time. I thought you already knew of Abraham's faith, when lineage and hubris, confined to the cavern mind, seek movement in the winds of information. Then I'll be ready to say something real.